Okay, so I'm walking as I do. And, well, whenever you make a choice in life, no matter how simple, small, big, it doesn't matter. Whenever you make a choice, there is an insurmountable amount of possibilities. It's like the butterfly effect, you know? There could be so many different outcomes. So, today, the last couple of days, it's been raining. And today, I decided I'm going to take a hike, and whatever happens, happens. Now, I look at it this way, you know? Best case scenario, I hike my way through, I make it back, nothing. I'm dry, not rained on, don't have any broken bones or missing limbs. It's a good day, you know? Middle case scenario is I'm walking through and it pours down rain, or even has a steady drizzle for the utmost of a mile, and I make it back and I'm drenched. It wouldn't be ideal, but it's not so cold out that it's going to be like torture, but it's definitely not an ideal situation. And then worst case scenario, as I see it, aside from, you know, getting mauled by a bear or running into a group of people that, you know, don't have my best intentions in mind, worst case scenario, as far as I see it, would be that I slip and hurt my ankle again, or cause some bodily injury that slows me down, and then it pours down rain. So right now, it's already starting to spit a little bit of rain, and I literally just got started. So I'm thinking I got pretty good reflexes, and not a lot of people are going to be out in the rain. So I'm probably going to make it back wet, or I'll get mauled by a bear. But, you know, those are the two most likely outcomes. But now the reason for this video. I'm going to cover several different topics, issues, and I'm going to throw in some pictures of some things I've been doing with my time. And if I'm going to put the pictures at the end, but if I end up having a brain fart between the topics and my controversial section that I want to talk about, then I'll probably just throw them in the middle, because they'd make more sense in the middle than in the end. So we'll see how it works out. Whatever's easiest in editing. So first off, I got my computer fixed. I'm laying off Pokey Paradise Hardcore. Like, I try to log on for about an hour every night. You know, do all my kits and maybe Wonder Trade a shiny, just because. See if anybody misses me. That's pretty much the extent of what I do now. I did put a little video on out for it, but we're going to get into the next topic. My computer broke. My PC broke. It was completely unusable. But luckily for me, I am a rather quick learner. So I learned how to repair my PC to the point of it functioning again. But there are some small problems. One, I can't use it as a laptop anymore, so I had to set up a desktop situation. Two, the mic doesn't work. So I gotta figure out an external mic for it, or figure out how to repair the mic that it has. Which I'm kinda thinking, the Wi-Fi, the screen, the camera, and I'm thinking the mic was all wired through the screen. Through the top half of the laptop, and I completely removed it. So that could be an issue. Worst case scenario, I get an external mic, and I get better sound quality. So it's not really the bad part about it is, I'm getting to the part of the season where I'm not making as much money, because there's no snow to shovel. I scrapped basically all the metal, and cutting grass is coming to an end. So funds are going to be slightly lower than for a couple of months, I would think. Unless something happens that a family member needs help or something and they pay me, because that happens from time to time. There is a few perks to still being fairly young and fairly strong. Like, don't get me wrong, I didn't ask for money last time I helped. She usually takes me out for dinner if she takes me grocery shopping, or I go grocery shopping with her. So I tell her, you feed me, that's good enough, She slides me a couple of bucks here and there whenever I work for her, so that's kind of nice. But, as you get older, your hobbies become more expensive, usually. So a couple of bucks, as it's nice and it can supplement my habits and hobbies, it's not gonna be enough to sustain it over a period of time. So buying a mic, or buying a new computer for that fact, is something I'm putting off until I see where my money situation is. I put a couple $100 back from the various stimulus checks for emergencies, and it's just starting to get to the season where I'm in, financial issues. So I went and already broke into $100. I mean, I have most of it left, but I already broke into it to buy the adapter cord for the monitor. So that's something to keep in mind. Where was I? So the computer's there. Mic doesn't work. The W key's a little bit iffy, and that's a fairly important key to a gamer. So I got to figure out what's wrong with that. I'm thinking that when I was altering the casing to get the cords to fit the way I wanted them to, there might be a little shaving of plastic stuck between the contact pad. In that case, I just have to take it apart, clean it, put it back together, problem solved. And I plan to do that anyway, so when that happens, it happens. So hiatus for Poke Paradise. Haven't been playing it, probably won't get back into it like I was, even if I fix my computer to be a laptop again. It's just, there's so many problems. There's so many issues. It's a decent way to kill some time. But my thing is, whenever I do something like that, it's like all or nothing. Like, it's either I play, once in a great while, maybe 30 minutes here and there, or an hour here and there, or like I play 8 hours a day, every day. And, there's no, I don't have that happy medium. It's either I barely do it, or I do it way too much. I do it not enough or way too much. I don't have that consistency to be able to sit down and play for 2 hours, then go do something, then come back and, maybe play for an hour and go to bed. I don't have that. It's either I play for half an hour to an hour, and then I go do something else, and that's whatever. It's out of my mind, done and over with. Or I play for 8 hours straight. So I'm trying to balance that out. And it's getting to the season where playing a game for 8 hours straight isn't really a bad thing. But I wasted a substantial amount of my summer playing this game. And it's kind of, I don't know if it's upsetting or not. Nothing happens for me out here. And the game, it's all ones and zeros. It's nothing tangible. But at least it's something. There goes that first brain fart already. I built a flower box. Well, garden box. I call it a flower box because she's like, oh, you killed my flower box, and yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, first off, it was 4 boards that were screwed together and placed by your stairs. Alright. Secondly, I planted tomatoes in it in the first place, so it's not really a flower box. It's a garden box. So I built a much bigger one, and there should be pictures of that coming up here shortly, or at the end, whichever happens. And it's hard to explain. Like, I'm my biggest critic. Everything I do, it's never good enough. Like, it'll function fine, it looks fine, I put more work into it than I should have, but I'm still never happy with it. Same with my picnic table, it's still standing, still going strong, no real issues with it, but it just, I always feel like, oh, I could have done this, I could have done that to make it better. And in reality, with the tools I have and the knowledge I have, I did a pretty freaking good job. So, it's difficult to describe. It's like my controversial topic I'm coming up on, you know? I feel that it's great, and I feel that it was a good job. But at the same time, I feel like, man, I could have done this better, I could have done that better, I could have made this better, you know? There's so many things that could have been improved upon. So, it's hard for me to... It's like when you have the computer, and you have to fool it by giving it an unsolvable problem. That's kind of how my brain is. I'm like, it does not compute. It does not compute. It's perfectly fine. It works great. Why are you so, you know, why do you keep feeling like it isn't good enough, you know? Moving on. I started Sky Factory 1. Now, without having a mic, I'm doing it silent, so there's no talking, no noise. I went and took out the background music because my editor, for some reason, doesn't like to sync it up right. I don't understand it because it's all part of the same clip, but it doesn't always sync up right in the rendering. So it's dead silent. You know, people watch it, listen to music in the background, good to go. It's sometimes it's better that way anyway. I mean, Sky Factory 1 is a remake of Sky Factory, the original, and it's in 1.16. So there's not a lot of things that are different, and I think I've seen 4 different people already doing the pack on YouTube. So if you need explaining, and I don't, you know, go through the motions visually, there's plenty of people to reference. It's not really ideal, because if I can speak while I play, I can eat up some filler time while I'm waiting for something to happen, but it is what it is. We're going to talk about my editor. The problem was first brought to my attention by one of my fans. It said that the words coming out of my mouth ain't linking up with the clip. And I was kind of wondering why that is. And I went through and I was looking at some options, and the best thing I come up with is that my editor is using maybe a little too much processing power, and my computer can't quite keep up with it, and it's causing some sort of glitch. That's my thought. It's fixable by me re-rendering it. It's a pain, but it's fixable. The editor itself, it was free, it came with a laptop, but it is pretty incredible, I'm not gonna lie. Like, hang on. Like, it's not, I wouldn't really say it's like top notch, but it's definitely a better quality for being free. And I'm sure originally you would pay for it, but considering my laptop is a 8 gigabyte gaming PC, I think it came with it for that purpose. So it was just one of the perks. What else is there? When I was ripping the PC apart and putting it back together, you guys are going to notice a lot of duct tape. It is crucial for the reconstruction. But besides that, when I was pulling it apart, there's an additional RAM card slot. So I was thinking about, I went and contacted my technology electronics dealer that kind of hooks me up with all the different technology pieces that I needed to fix my laptop with. And he said if he gets any RAM cards that'll fit the slot, he'll hook me up. So that could be kind of cool. I mean, I don't really want to do another 8 gig, but if I could get a 4 gig, I think that'd be okay. I think, like, the computer can be limited by the CPU, if my understanding's correct, and the cooling system and all that. So if you ramp up the RAM and you're using too much of the RAM at one time, it can cause problems. So I don't wanna like, you know, go with a 8 or a 32 gig card and end up using, you know, 16 or 30 gigs and frying my laptop. So until I decide if I'm getting a new one or not, I want to kind of want to be smart about what I do with the existing scrap heap that I call a computer. And I think that pretty much covers everything I wanted to talk about. I got the cement block back and planted it around the cactus, built the flower box, cleared out the garden, mowed the grass, tried to level the walkway a little better. And that's pretty much started Sky Factory. That's pretty much all I've done. So let's move on to this controversial topic. Alright, so I'm in the car, and I'm going to pick up a computer chair for my grandmother, because my grandmother's computer chair was broken for some reason, which semi-worked out in my favor, because I got a 20-year-old broken computer chair instead of sitting on the shower chair that I was using for my laptop, which kind of worked out, because I actually managed to fix the computer chair for the most part. There is, I swear I keep hearing something. It's not perfect, but it's 20 years old, so I didn't expect it to be. They're still down there working, so I think I'm gonna walk back a little ways and then come back. I don't really want to be too far away for too long, because if it does start to rain, I might manage to make it. So we'll see how that works out, but I can't go down there where they're working, because if I get saw or seen, they will call the police, and I'm not too interested in dealing with that. Some of the people are cool who would just let me go through, but they said if the boss saw me, there could and would be repercussions, so it's not worth it to me. It's not worth it to me to do that. So they should be clearing out here in the next half an hour, so it should be alright. I might take the more riskier route and go around them, but we'll see. Alright, so the more controversial topic, got the computer chair, went to the car. So let me put this into perspective for you. Alright, the three people I'm speaking of are like, they could probably pass for sisters, and they're all over 50. Some are reaching the 80 mark. So this conversation is a little bit weird. They all decided, for some reason, to go to a drag queen bingo. Alright? They knew what drag queens were. I would assume, because they told me, you know, men dress like women, but I don't think they quite understood what that entailed. So they went, and I got some clip notes of some of the interesting things they saw, and, you know, they were like, I'm never going back to a thing like that, and I'm like, well, I kind of warned you. They're like, no, you didn't, I'm like, yeah, I kind of did. I was like, you weren't going to like it, but, you know, anyways, to the point, we're in the car, and something got brought up about relations or one of them hooking up with somebody, and they brought up the whole drag queen thing, and then they brought up the whole incestuous behavior and homosexual behavior. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, just shut up, you know, just shut up. You know, you don't know too much about it, for one, and for two, it's not something I really want to talk about with my 70-year-old aunt and grandmother. The previous topic was 69ing, by the way. So that was the last drive-along topic. And I was not about to explain that to them. So, anyways. The topic came up, and I was thinking about it. And I'm like, okay, so I'm straight, hardcore straight. No, there's never been a, I don't even like, hot dogs, let alone, I don't like my own wiener, let alone somebody else's. So yeah, I'm super straight, and I can't really see the appeal in it. And I would never say that I didn't see a family member as attractive, but I would never go through with something like that, because my principle is, my thought process is, there are hundreds of thousands, millions of people in the world. Why would you settle for a family member? Like, it makes zero sense. Well, it makes little sense. And the reason this is a topic that I bring up on rare occasion is it tends to run in my family a bit more than I would like to admit, actually. It's a little kind of weird. But the longer I'm alive, and the more I see things, and the more things happen around me, and I see what society does to people, and I see what standards they fit for people, I can say that I relatively can understand how a man could bite the bullet and go with another man, I guess. But yeah, it's just, I can see how that could occur, and I can see why that would occur, because what happened to me throughout my life, I used to be mediocrely popular. I have a decent amount of female companions throughout my life, but somewhere along the way, some rumors were spread, and different things happened to put me in a bad place, which, I've never really got out of that bad place wholeheartedly, but put me in a bad place, and it didn't take long at all for some of the people that, might have even died for me, like, to hate me. And it just makes me think, like, if you get alienated long enough, and you get treated a certain way, and nobody wants you, then I can see how somebody could resort to choosing another man, or a woman choosing another woman, or a man or woman choosing a family member. I can kind of see how that could become a thing the older I get. And the really downside to it, the really bad part of it, is that it's weird how a couple little rumors, a couple little lies, and a couple people just backing those rumors and lies can completely ruin someone's life. It's astounding to me. I went and was talking to a guy that I was talking to about construction, scrap wood I had, and some different things. And he was talking about the one neighbor that I spoke about before in a video that I won't post because I said some things that might not be a good idea to say. But he was talking about how they keep giving his son trouble. And, well, I would go as far as to say we were kind of like friends. I would go up and drink beer, throw the football with her son, BS. We had a cookout once, we'd hang out and do some things. It wasn't anything huge, but I'd say over a couple of months we were chilling, that we were kind of like friends. But the one neighbor just kept saying awful things about me, alright? And I kind of just ignored her for a while. And then one day we're sitting by the fire, and she said something really kind of bad. I can't really remember what she said or how she worded it, but she said something really kind of bad. And I was like, if I didn't know any better, I think you have a big crush on me with much crap you spill about me. And I never went back after that. So I assume that there are three people that are kind of backing these ugly rumors so far that I found. One moved away, so I guess they're not really an issue for this town. Maybe they're spreading it in another town. It's a little flattering, to be honest, to think that I'm so important to someone's life that they go around talking about me. But it did effectively destroy my life. So there's that. But with that being said, and the things that I realized over the amount of time, I can kind of see how, I can't see the appeal in it personally, but I can kind of see how somebody could take that path. I can kind of see how somebody can go down that road. It's like, the older you get, the more understanding you are. The longer you live, the more things you experience, the more things you see, the easier it is for you to you're like, okay, I can see how that could be a thing. Not that it's right. It's absolutely disgusting. Not being a homo or trans or whatever. I'm not saying that's particularly disgusting. You do you. I'm saying society is disgusting. I don't think if people were more accepting and were less sculpted and manipulated by society, I don't think half these problems would exist. Not that I'm saying homosexual or incestuous is a problem. I'm trying to not sound like I'm down on it, because I'm really not. I mean, it affects me very little. The biggest thing about girl-on-girl action is that, that's less prey for me to hunt. Guys, by all means, go ahead. Hook up with each other. The more of you guys hook up with each other, that's more available women. Yeah, anyways. That's, I'm not really looking down on it. I'm just saying that I'm trying to say that I can understand it, but there's parts that it's the world's fault. It's the world's fault. It's how the world, and how society has sculpted people. I reference a thing that I invented. I'm sure it already exists. Damn. I'm sure it already exists. But I invented the idea of the Barbie doll system. It's like back when Barbie doll was invented, there were all kinds of girls trying to get that perfect figure, trying to get that perfect look. And that doll sculpted their view, sculpted several people's views of what a female should look like. And I kind of think that's what's happening with a lot of other things in the world. I'm not saying that a body like that isn't somewhat achievable for men or women. What I'm saying is, that's not how an average person looks. And its influence on the world kind of did some, I think, far more harm than good. It gave people unrealistic goals. And I think that's happening with a lot of things. How much money you make, what you need in life compared to what you want or what you're made to want, how people look at each other. It's all been sculpted and influenced by a certain group of people that are making the world look and act the way they want to look. It's in my words of psychoness, it's a big old conspiracy theory. You think about it. What is the most important thing in the world? What is the most important thing to exist? Well, it's real simple if you think about it. You need food. You need water. You need oxygen. You need a certain level of exercise to be a well-rounded, healthy person. I could even throw some intellect in there. You need to have some sort of intellectual stimulation. I could even throw that in there. But one of the most important things is happiness. And you spend so much time trying to achieve the 7-figure bank account that is very unlikely to ever really achieve to impress somebody, to hope that they want you for you and not your money in the first place. It's all because of the world. Because you know what? Any person that would sit and think, what's the most important thing? What would I want in my life to make my life better? It's not money. I mean, yeah, money's good. Money can buy a lot of things. It can even buy happiness. It can buy partnership. It can buy a lot of things. But for me personally, I'm never truly happy in that regard. I was never happier than 2 events in my life. One, when I was living out of a car with my girlfriend, traveling around the country. That was one thing that, there were bad times, mostly because of her. But, I was never happier. I would take it back in a second. I mean, I would go back on the road in a second. I guess there's 3 times. The time I joined the carnival. Traveled with them for several months. With my girlfriend. A different girlfriend. I tried to go. I thought about going back. But it's not a life I want to live long term. It's something that would be, it was good, it was great, but it takes a toll on your body. So, it's not something I want to do long term. And the last thing was, it's difficult for me to talk about because it gives me different levels of emotion that I don't like. So, well, I do and don't like. Reminds me that I'm human, but at the same time, it's not necessarily always a good thing. So, I met this girl when I was working, and nothing made me happier than her. We were both complete losers. Money, and I did enough things to be cool, to have some groupies and some friends. And, I'd even go as far as saying I'd turn a head or 2 here and there. But I wasn't no Taylor Lautner with a Ferrari. I was just some scrub that, had a sunny disposition. And she wasn't much different, to be honest. She didn't have much. But just something about her just made me so bloody happy. But those are the 3 times. And do you know what was lacking in those 3 times? Well, the first 2 times, mostly. Social influence, abundance of money, and an overabundance of manipulation. There wasn't a lot of that going on at that period of time. Living on the road, we weren't watching a lot of TV. We weren't holding a ton of conversations with people. It was me and her doing what we do and just having fun, And it worked out for quite a while. Now, like I said, she was a bit on the wealthier side, not rich, but had some money compared to me. So the transition of living out of a car was a little much for her, and I think that stemmed quite a few of the problems. And the carnival trip we were both pretty much on the same playing field, me and that girl. We didn't have much to start with, so we didn't have much to lose, and which made it kind of better. And it was a lot of fun. I mean, I think I would have got a lot more action, if you know what I mean, if I went to the carnival without a girlfriend. But, I mean, a lot more variety of action, rather than just being faithful with one girl for the whole trip. But I can't really complain. That part wasn't bad either. But I mean, there are some things I may have done differently, but it is what it is. Now I'm just kind of rambling. I hope you got my point. I'm trying to convey a message, convey a thought. Trying to get people to understand where my mind is, where my thought process is, what I'm thinking about and why I'm thinking about it, why I do some of the things I do. I mean, there's a lot of things that I can just go out and buy. Like, I'm not broke. Like, I can just go out and buy. But learning how to build something is skills that you'll have for the rest of your life. Learning how to actually do things yourself. Cooking, sewing, construction, all that different stuff. You know, that's stuff that you can carry with you forever. It's the age-old proverb that you can teach a man to fish. Or you can give a man a fish and feed him for a day. But if you teach a man to fish, you can feed him for the rest of his life, you know? It's just, I want the world to change. I want to help influence things in a positive manner. By no means am I righteous. By no means am I a good person. But there are some obvious wrongs that would make the collective whole better, rather than some of the things that I do that I claim to not be righteous or not be a good person is mostly like, quite a few of them, it's either for the adrenaline, or could it be solved by removing the manipulation and lies in the world. Like, I'd have so many more friends, have so many more things to do to occupy my time if this societal pressure, rumors, and manipulation wasn't spreading around like a disease. So, that's something I like to joke about. Corona is not the problem. There is no corona as far as I'm concerned. The disease is people. The way they talk, the way they act, the way they diminish other people's lives to make themselves feel better, that's the disease. Unfortunately, there's no cure for it, unless we all change. Or enough of us change to have that positive impact. But I don't see that happening. Did I go too far? No, I didn't go too far. No, we got a little bit further yet. I don't see that happening. It's not in my lifetime. Probably not in the next generation's lifetime. It's gonna take, like most things that happen in the world, it's gonna take mass extermination or a global disaster, a larger real global disaster, to influence any real change. I think one of the things are people got to figure out more of what I see, more of what I know, because a lot of people don't want to fight it, because I don't think a lot of people realize it exists. They're too oblivious to what is actually happening around them, too self-centered. Instead of looking at the collective, instead of looking at the species, they're too concerned with themselves, or themselves and a few small people that they hold close to them. And you got to think of everybody. You know, it's the thing I said. You know, it's great to give someone power to make things better, But eventually they'll take that power too far, because that's just how things work. It's starting to rain, and I don't have my camera and it's waterproof thing, and I'm about to descend a big hill. So I'm calling it quits here. Thanks for watching. Hope I got my point across. We'll see. Guess it doesn't really matter anyway. Like I said, I'll be dead and gone long before anything changes. So later. Hey, quick little clip. So my computer, right? You know, I said how I was gonna do a bunch of pictures at the end. Well, I figured at this point, I might as well just shoot a little bit of a thing. So my computer, right? It was here, but there's too high. So I made this. It's a carom board with a laptop base and a desktop monitor with a mouse. And it works. It works fine. But I'm currently rendering a video for Sky Factory 1. And I just decided that I'd shoot a quick little clip of, you know, my current gaming situation. So, yeah. Alright, catch you guys later.